So, hi everyone, and welcome to this session of the Thriving Families Africa Summit. Today, we are talking about fatherhood, not just in terms of providing, protecting, but really being present and emotionally connected in a world that is moving so fast. So, our guest today is Elijah Odundo. He's a sports director at Jabali School. He's also a coach at Stawi. And at Jabali School, he's dedicated to helping children discover and nurture their talents. Elijah also serves as a parenting coach, empowering parents to provide stable care for their children. And as a character and mentorship coach, you wear very many hats, Elijah, especially with
Thank
teens
you.
and youth, like the Mwangaza Girls team, which we have had an opportunity to work together. Beyond that, Elijah continues to pour into kids as a Sunday school teacher and at Hekima Center Church. Elijah brings a unique lens both as a coach and a father, raising three teenage girls, living out the realities of presence, of self-awareness, and connection every single day. So, Elijah, we are so glad to have you here with us. Thanks for saying yes to this call.
It's such an honor, actually. So thank you so much for having me today, Dr. Carol.
Yes, and I look forward to this conversation. One of the things that I keep saying, because I've worked in this space for so many years, but there is one thing I will never be, and that is a man. I will never be a father. And
Sure,
so a lot
sure.
of the conversations I have sometimes connect mostly with women and with moms. As much as I bring in my expertise as a psychologist, as a mental health professional, there's just some things that I would not be able to communicate as well as a dad would or as a man would. And I'm so glad that you're here to shed light in that space. So let me just jump in and ask, you are a father raising teenagers. Just share with us how that journey is, what it looks like to be present as a father in your daily life.
Okay. So thank you so much, Dr. Carol. Once again, I must say it's such an honor just to have this conversation with you, talking about fatherhood, what it means to connect with our children. But just on that question on being present as a dad, allow me to start off by saying that, I mean, honestly, from where I sit, I'll say it's important to be present physically. That's really important because I'll probably share some experiences just to paint that picture, but also to be present emotionally. What does that mean? But let me start off with being physically present. But I'm a dad of 4 right now, and my eldest daughter is 17. So that means I've been a father for the last 17 years.
Right.
And I've gone through many seasons, so to speak. And I will say that this season is a very interesting one. But allow me to paint the picture of the first, let's say around 8 to when my daughter was around 8 until she was around 12. During that season, I traveled quite a bit, and it was quite a hard one. And of course, at the time, I also had the other 3. Yes, so of course, bringing them to 4. And one thing that I noticed that my physical absence had an impact. They actually did feel it quite a bit, to the point lately, of course, I want to say that I've been blessed to be a little more present physically by reason of my work. I have, thank God that I'm working from home. We are the few that, so to speak, the COVID pandemic sort of just, it was like it's a blessing in disguise where we've been able to work from home. And that has been great for me. So going back to what I was trying to mention, that there's a season I was working away from home. And that means physically, I wasn't present that much. And in being very intentional around just trying to quote unquote make up for that season, or not, of course, not overcompensating, but just being around. What am I saying? So there's a season I was working Addis, and it meant that for 3 years, 2016 to about 2019, I was physically, I wasn't physically that much present. But what I did in my plan is that I had to travel every other week back to Nairobi. Addis Ababa is 2 hours from Nairobi, but then it means traveling every other week for 3 years. It took quite a toll on me physically. But the idea was, and emotionally, of course, the idea for me was just really to be present for my kids and my spouse. And I knew that season was really tough for them because they knew that dad will be away for like 2 weeks. Probably, of course, the good thing is that I will be able to connect with them, through WhatsApp or Skype and all that. Technology actually did work for me around that time. But then my physical, so I knew the physical absence did affect them. How did I know that? So when I came back later on, now when I settled in Nairobi and I was present, probably doing some work, so I was physically present and most of the time. A few times when a trip came up, I will notice the kids will struggle. In the sense, they'll actually ask me, Dad, for how long are you going on this trip? When are you coming back? And they might not express it directly that, oh, Dad, again, you'll be away for too long. But in one or the other, the way they pose the question sent a message to me that my physical absence always, they felt some vacuum, they felt something was lacking. So why am I sharing this? This is basically to mention that our physical presence is very, very important for a child. Because that's the way, probably even if it's modeling, you can be able to model some certain activities, some certain values, because it's easier when you're around. Of course, you can call when you're miles away. You can have a chat on Skype or WhatsApp, but your physical presence is very important. So I think that's one. What about a case where most of us dads can be present physically, but absent emotionally?
Yeah.
We're not able to connect with our kids. So how does that look like for me now that I'm really grateful for the space I'm in at the moment? I'm physically present huge amount of times, almost 90 to 95% of the times I'm around. One of the key things that I decided to do, I looked at my own self. What are some of the key things that I love doing? What are my daily rhythms?
Mm-hmm.
How can I be able to weave my kids into my daily rhythms? Things just like, being a sports enthusiast, I play a lot with my kids. Mm-hmm. Having known what I know now, I realized that moments like when I play with them are the best moments when I can easily connect with my children. Tensions are low, the walls are down. Yeah. We can laugh because just like in any game in a sports, we high five each other and all that. I find that those are the fantastic moments when I'm able to connect with them. Mm-hmm. The key things, other things like just helping them with homework. As I mentioned, right now I work from home. So when they come back from school, they have a few things to do. They walk to my table, Daddy, help me with this. And I take advantage of those moments just to sort of just connect with them, ask them how was school, okay, how did this happen? Just connect with them. So in the daily activities, weaving them into my daily activities has actually helped me. I remember, by the way, when for the younger ones, because as I mentioned, I have 4 girls, the set of the triplets are now 12. When they were fairly young, I really loved reading bedtime stories with them. Wow. Unfortunately, this has been that I haven't maintained that discipline, but I've been thinking about it. Should I continue with this? But of course, as they age, they kind of think, Daddy, this is. But to the point when we used to do that, they will always ask, Daddy, are you coming to do to read some stories for us? And those are moments actually I used to be able to connect with them. So the point I'm trying to put across here is our day-to-day activities, our daily rhythms are such an important space or important platform for us to be able to connect with our kids. It doesn't have to be. It's nice to do the big holidays, which can be fairly infrequent, but just making the frequent activities, your day-to-day activities, to be a place where you can be able to connect with your child. And I've seen that. And for me, that has been my bread and butter in terms of connecting with my kids, in terms of just connecting emotionally. Of course, being present has been a blessing, but just some of those are little activities. When we get a chance to go out, we go out and have a meal together. In fact, the last thing that I also want to mention, actually that time when I was physically absent because by reason of work, it hit me that maybe the weekends I will be around, we started thinking about doing breakfast in the morning together. We'll do pancakes together. I'm just cooking together. And that process, there's no many stories that, oh, my final this, you've done that. It's easy, it's very organic. And that has actually helped me. So the point again I'm putting across is just our daily activities. Think of whatever you do. How can you be able to bring your kids into that space? I do it. To the extent right now, they even love doing those pancakes by themselves. Unfortunately, they don't invite me to do the pancakes alongside. Instead, they tell me, Daddy, the pancakes are ready, so let's sit down and eat. And which again, just having a meal together, also, it's one chance to connect. Yeah.
So in a nutshell, really, it's in the little things. It's in the little things,
yes,
the simple things. And when we say connect emotionally, it's not about talking about feelings. It is connecting in that activity. And
absolutely,
because of that, conversations might come up around how they are
absolutely,
feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
In fact, I'll summarize that it's actually doing life together.
Doing life together in the little.
Doing life together. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that, having been in the Stawi space, we talk a lot about self-awareness as a parent, and that being very foundational for the well-being of your child, your own
Yes.
self-awareness. From a dad's perspective, how does that look like? Being self-aware, how do you actively cultivate self-awareness?
Well, a great question. It's not so easy to respond to it, but let me try. I keep on reflecting on just how that understanding of what self-awareness, that understanding, how it has helped me, and how that has now helped me to be a better dad or a better father. Let me put it this way. Before I actually had the interactions with with your sessions, Dr. Carol, this was not something that I even knew about. Maybe I knew about it, but I didn't have the right lingo for it. Self-aware, am I self-aware? Do I know the things that will get me angry? Do I know the things that will be like a trigger? Maybe those are things that are there, but I never had the right lingo. But right now, with the interactions that I've had at Stawi, it's like, I would say it's actually been like a game changer for me on how I do life, particularly being a father. Just being self-aware of the things that will, like, I mean, a moment when I'm probably addressing an issue, some mischief that my daughters will have gotten involved in. Am I addressing the issue, or it's out of my anger, maybe out of other issues, that I'm now pouring all my anxiety and my anger into? It might not be really that maybe my daughter has done something crazy, but the way I respond to it, it's like I'm hitting this mosquito with a hammer, if I might use that. So for me, self-awareness has been just my tone, my body language when probably there's an issue that needs to be addressed. And particularly, I think it's been where instances where let me just use the word, there's been some delinquency or some mischief. The way you as a father, you want to calm down, there's a misbehavior, and you want to spank, or you want to handle that matter as a father. So I keep asking myself, okay, one, what is the issue? What is the state of my heart? What is the state of my mind? How am I responding to this issue? Is it an issue of really my daughter has done something bad, and therefore I need to reprimand her, I need to guide her? So how am I showing up at that point in time? Am I showing up with the weights of the pressures? Because as a father, there are pressures. There are many issues that I'm putting pressure on me. And are those things influencing the way I'm going to respond to her? Or I'm going to handle that sort of the heat moment? So I would say that just being aware has helped me to be able to moderate those sessions, has helped me to be a little more calmer when I'm handling the heated moments. And those heated moments, they can be frequent, they can be many,
Yep.
The most recent ones, just being, teenagers a teenager is a teenager, where, to be honest, there was an instance where I felt there was my daughter was involved in some, I would say, just some mischief, something that really, I was like, oh, this is not right, maybe because of the sort of character that she surrounded herself with in school, the influences, and this was taking on a wrong path, so to speak. By the way, to open up about it was almost like a substance abuse, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is gross. But interestingly, I was calm about it. I was quite calm about it. I remember mom and my wife was like, wow, this is not going to happen in this house. You cannot do this in this house. But for me, I was calm and I was self-aware. I knew that, I mean, if we are to handle this in a sober manner, one thing that is so important is I have to be calm. And this is a function of some of these lessons that I've learned over a period of time with the interaction that we've had at Stawi. So I will say that just knowing, understanding my tone, understanding my body language at that point when things are heated up, it's important. It helps to be able to handle it with some level of soberness, with less of the extremes where you can easily, things can get out of hand. Let me put it that way. Yeah. So how that has, I would say that my interactions with the style materials and what you've shared with us over this period of time has actually helped me to be able to handle those heated moments a lot more mature with calmness.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure that flows into what happens eventually, because we always say how you show up in that moment determines what lesson will be learned. There's always going to be a lesson, but what kind of
Absolutely.
lesson? What kind of
Yes.
lesson do we want?
Lesson, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So essentially,
So
what am I bringing into this space? Yes, go ahead.
yeah. Oh, okay. Just go ahead in terms of you're asking like what the lessons that learned from that.
Yes, no, I'm just saying when we show up,
Okay.
when we are calm,
Yes.
then it determines what kind of lesson that we are.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yeah, and it could be
Yes.
any lesson. I mean, you show up
Yes.
with aggression, you show up with a lot of noise and all that. And we like to say in our sessions, 2 hour lectures, what the children learn there is that when you are ticked off, when you're angry, you go on and you say things, and we will determine whether to apologize later. Or when you show up with calmness, then you're also modeling
Yes.
to deal with conflict, how to show up with conflict.
Absolutely. Conflict. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
So yeah, so for me, it's it's been a great journey of just trying to uh, uh, put into practice a lot of the things that I've learned. Because there's one aspect of you learning it in a session like some of the sessions we've had, but right now I would probably put it this way: when the rubber meets the road, when there's an actual situation that you have to handle, how do you is that calmness? Is it easy to approach it with some calmness, or you want to just descend on your child and beat them up? Spanker is not too far from where you sit and you just unleash it, which to some extent, I'm not saying it's not bad to spank, but even now spanking with a better understanding that this is supposed to help correct some delinquencies, some mischief, just for them to understand that okay, this was wrong. I needed to act in a certain manner that is consistent with the values that mom, dad, espouse, and therefore yeah. So it actually helps. So for me, self-awareness is important. So you know what are my triggers? How do I handle a heated moment and without causing a bigger damage? I think that has been important.
yeah, the lesson in the long term, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even putting some scars. Some could be physical scars, others could be emotional scars. Yeah.
Yeah. And, again, now thinking just about that conversation and emotional connection and being calm and being able to step back and think through and look at yourself and focus inward, being reflective. I feel like it goes against some, masculine myths about masculinity or fatherhood. And what are some of those myths that hold men and dads back from being emotionally connected?
Yeah, important. If actually in that question, I keep thinking about it in this regard. One, how are my kids perceive masculinity as of course the dad, and femininity for mom.
Okay.
For us, the mix is a bit interesting because mom happens to be the quote unquote the disciplinarian. I'm a little softer. Maybe I should thank God for these sessions that Stawi has impacted so much on me, even just the calmness. But I know the myths out there are many. One's probably starting off with issues like, dads are the disciplinarian. That's why I was trying to paint this picture. Because for me, I think I love to sit and let's understand what are the issues, what happened, why did we have to do this? Of course, with some level of, knowing that, okay, when things are wrong, we need to be able to correct them and say, this is wrong, it needs to be corrected, but with some level of calmness. There are cases where, we just pounce on the person. What happened? Bam, bam, and it's a mess. So we always feel that, oh, the moms are the ones who connect emotionally with kids. But I want to debunk that. Even as men, we are in that space where we can connect with our kids emotionally. Meaning, we have to be able to just open up ourselves to, having a conversation with them, getting to, that desire, having that desire to know what is my child going through. How can I be able to help? Can you empathize with what they could be going through? I think it's an important space that even as men need to occupy.
So it's not just the mom's job.
It's not just the mom's job. No, as men still need to. And I think our kids, not that I think, as a matter of fact, our children desire that. And I think it also shows up in cases where we can also be vulnerable to them.
Right.
Let me give an example. There's a time that my daughter number one, let me put it that way, was actually in she was in a boarding school, and now I picked her up from school, and she was sharing with me an instance where one of our friends, quote unquote a friend, I think, or maybe a classmate, let me put it that way, had something came up, and she had to be expelled. Actually, let me put it that way, she was to be expelled. And I realized that thing in one or the other was a huge concern for her. So then as we were driving from school, going back home, So the story, she kept on sharing that story. Then I actually opened up to her and told, but they do know, while I was in high school, I nearly got expelled. Do you know, I'm like, that got her interest. She was asking, Dad, tell me what happened. So I had to share it with her. Because in most cases, we want to paint this picture that we were perfect growing up. This perfect that when I was growing up, nothing ever went wrong. In my journey, I was in school, nothing ever, I never failed or I never made a mistake that literally the teachers felt this guy needs to go. I had to explain to her, and then she was able to connect with that. Actually, she got so much interested for me just to be able to share that story with her. And what the point I'm trying to make here is that those are moments when you're able to connect with the child. And I don't think for us men, it's only right to show the good side or the perfect side. For me, perfection is not the story. The story is just being yourself. Be yourself. Just be yourself. The tenderness that we by the way, it's not only women that are tender, even men. It's just about being tender, just being able to being human. Let me put it that way. Knowing that there are moments when you miss it, and are you willing to share it with your children? Morning, where there are moments when you always feel like, okay, you're so much under pressure and you might need to probably share a tear. Being just emotionally, being vulnerable at some point helps them to be able to connect with us. And so that our role is not just about, being the disciplinarian in the house. No, can also be, we can empathize with them. We can connect with them at the lowest level possible. And in that also, I think when we do that, our children are in a position to pour out their emotions. They're able to pour out their feelings. And that helps you to be able to just help them journey. I like what you always say. You allow your child to come along. Come
alongside your child.
Yes, you come alongside your child, which could mean, when they're going through something, you're with them. But when you're also going through something, they are with you. So it's almost like, your lives are intertwined. You can share those moments. So that they even know at this point, daddy is going through some stuff. It's not always you're going through stuff, but you show up. It's like you're not what's the right word for it?
Being authentic, maybe?
You're not authentic. Yes. So for me, I think masculinity is not synonymous with hiding feelings. No. Masculinity is just being authentic, being in a position to empathize with your child, and being vulnerable. For me, those are some words that will describe masculinity, so to speak.
Yes, and I always marvel at how we say yes, we are gendered in our emotions. Of course, we are male, we are female. There's that separation, but at the end of the day, we are emotional human beings.
Yes,
Emotions.
yes.
There is no female emotions and male emotions.
No,
So I really appreciate you sharing candidly, especially when it comes to being vulnerable, even from a dad's perspective. And
yes,
so
yes.
even I just think about that then, and from your experience, what do you think teenage girls need the most from their fathers in this season of teenagehood, or in this day and age? What do you think they need the most from their fathers?
I think for me, being that I have a teenager who's of course I've seen her grow from the time, mature from the time she was around 13, now she's 17. Just being affirmed, I think, is an important thing for them.
Being affirmed.
Telling them, affirmation.
Right.
Telling that you are good enough, you are beautiful. And more so, them hearing that from what they consider their hero, so to speak. And again, hero here does not mean that you're perfect. It's just that somebody they can look up to. And that means you're available. They can be able to share with you their feelings. At that point, they might not be able to share some of the emotional issues that easy. But if it depends on how much how much space you've created for them. So for me, one key thing that I've noticed is just affirming them that in spite of the gaps, in spite of some of the mistakes that you probably might observe, you are their number one. You are their friend, and they're good enough, so that any self-doubt will not have any space in their minds. Because in most cases, if we don't do it as dads, probably out there's no vacuum. In fact, I think I keep saying this. Maybe I haven't said it that much enough, but if we don't say it enough, somebody else will say it out there. Yeah. So I think it has to be a value that we need to cultivate at home. That come on, you're good enough. We have to keep affirming our teenage girls. and that's one thing I keep doing. That you're beautiful. I mean, I just have to give her that confidence, that self-confidence that you're good enough, you can do whatever you need to do. So it's something I keep doing. At times I keep asking myself, am I doing it enough, or am I overdoing it at some point? But just being hearing that voice a few times when they need it in particular, I keep saying that. Yeah. So I think for me, affirmation is important. The other point that probably that comes to mind is, we are very quick to judge as well as parents.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that has, in fact, from the lessons that we've learned, one of those sessions that we've had, and the mental fitness program, that or the positive intelligence, right, where we judge ourselves, we judge our people, and we judge circumstances, and this, in most cases, in some cases, may not be true. It could be an observation we've made.
Yeah.
That but the message that we always keep getting is that it's factual that this observation we made, but then when we judge ourselves, it leaves us feeling bad. The same thing if you project it on somebody you love, like in this case, I project it on my teenage girl. I keep judging. The messages that I keep sending to her is that she's bad, almost close to awful. Whatever she's doing is awful. And that's the message she's getting. So really just coming to that place where I should not be quick to judge. I need to first try and understand what is the circumstances, what are some of the issues surrounding whatever could have happened. So, and of course, trying to replace it with the empathy. Okay, oh, sorry, this what happened. How could mommy and I could have been of help in this circumstance? You went through this, maybe like probably an exam that she expected to do well, but things turned out, maybe it did turn out well. You're like, oh, instead of judging, oh, we told you, you've been wasting so much time. You don't wake up early. You didn't, no, that sort of. So for me, I think as a teenage girl or a teenager going through that season is a quote unquote a very delicate season. Really, as a parent, as a father, I've noticed that I shouldn't be that quick to judge. I should try and understand what are some of the issues. It could have been like I know, being a man, we might not really understand what happens through those monthly sessions, the monthly cycles. So at times it comes a lot of challenges. So me being sporty, I'm trying to pull them all. Let's go. How are you feeling? Like your own energy? Yet it could be. I just need to understand. It shouldn't be because she might not be well. There are moments she can tell me, but I should be able to really understand what she's going through. So again, understanding my teenage girl has been a very important part of just journeying with her as a teenager. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the affirmation part because now you become the voice in their head.
Yes.
There are so many other voices. So even if there is no one else there out there who will tell them they are beautiful, there are many voices that tell them otherwise. So
Yes.
within those voices, they should be able to hear your voice above.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very important.
And I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think even that's just as you're trying to mention that. I mean, also just being reminded that regardless of what other people will say, my dad has said, and probably what my dad has said is the truth, and also whether things are okay or things are bad, my dad still loves me. My dad still calls me beautiful. You might say that I'm not, I'm otherwise, but my hero is telling me so much. In fact, telling me the positive vibes that I need to hear. This reminds me of a story. Allow me to share this. There was a season we were in I think it was a men's meeting in church, and we invited some guys. Actually, they were working with, reaching out to some of these our sex workers who operate in the night and all that. And one thing that this guy mentioned did touch my heart, and it's kind of connected to what you're saying. When they interviewed these girls, one thing they said is that the people who are in their lives, who could have maybe been a dad or an uncle, somebody who was close to them, a male figure, called them nasty names. Call them all manner of things, that you'll be harlot, you're a harlot, and whatever, all those crazy names. And they kind of found themselves on the streets. So our words and affirmation that we give our teenage girls as a father, more particularly as a father, is so important.
Very powerful.
We can't underestimate it. It's so powerful because the negative will actually drive them that direction. If it's a positive word, it will will allow their lives to blossom. But if it's a negative word, it will actually drive them down into, spaces that you as a person, you will not even desire your child to be in. So it's so true. So for me, affirmation is important, particularly in that particular season. And for all of us, whatever season, if somebody tells you a positive word, you feel happy about it. It's there's some joy, but a negative word. So you can imagine somebody who in their formative stages, all they want to hear is a positive word, but instead you plant a wrong seed. Yeah, so it's important. It's really a weighty one.
Yeah, and I think this is where self-awareness again comes in, because we are asking the question, what am I bringing into this space? What am I pouring
Yes.
my child's environment? So I know there are dads probably who are watching this, who are listening to this, and they're like, where do I even start? Probably they feel I'm a late starter in this journey. I
Yes.
have been connected. I've focused on
Mhm.
providing and protecting, and I thought I was doing the right things. So what first steps can they take to help them reconnect with their children?
Probably for me, I'll just go back to what I mentioned, the little things that we do, our daily rhythms. It's great to plan a big holiday and go with your kids and have so much fun. But let me tell you, you'll be able to connect with them better in that holiday when in your day-to-day activities, they're kind of part of what you're doing. And this could be as simple as just helping them with homework, which personally I do. Doing games with them, which personally I do, because again, it's what I love. And I'm not saying that all of us have to play games with them. Well and good. Think of whatever daily activity that you do. I know there's some business people who want to go with their kids to the boardrooms. Fantastic. Let them be part of that space. Let them sit at home and listen to you talk to the rest. And that helps them to be able to say, there are certain values some values are taught, some values are learned. There's some things that they keep learning along the way. Yeah, just by them being in your space.
Yeah.
So for me, the one key thing that I'll say, it's never too late. And I know, again, just trying to mention something that I've learned from my sessions we've had at Stawi, where we keep thinking, oh, there's a window. I've lost that window. Okay. But I always think it's never too late. In your day-to-day activities, in your day-to-day rhythms, you can actually get your children involved, your kid, your teenage girl, your teenage boy, get them involved in your activities. And in the process, you're able to connect with them. It don't have to be the big things that as I said, it's when you have those big holidays that you go with your kids, you'll be able to connect better with them when you're already connecting on the day-to-day activities. Yeah. So I would say that just start wherever, start small or start afraid. Yes.
Start afraid, start small, start where you're at. I really like that. And I like pulling out some very key things, that we are bringing out from this summit. And I like what you have said, that yes, you can plan the big holiday, but you may not be able to connect on that big holiday if you have not been connecting in the little things.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Because more so in the day when there's a lot of interruptions or disruptions from gadgets, you can be on this holiday and all of us are on gadgets. You hardly connect. And for me, I don't think it will be a fun holiday when all of us are on gadgets. We don't go skiing together. If you went, let's say, to the beach, everyone is on some beach bed, but they're on a gadget. No. Go and do some volleyball. Yes, together. And in the process, you're almost drowning. Let them laugh at you as a dad. Oh, dad, you don't know how to swim. Those moments, you're able to connect with your child. They're able to connect with you. And it's so healthy for them. And those are some of the key things they'll remember. That, we went out, we had dad almost drowned. We had to help dad out of the water, stuff like that. So, and it starts off with the small day-to-day activities that will feed into the bigger one that will make it much more meaningful and enjoyable for all.
Yeah. And, as we always say in this space, is that our children respond to us better.
Yes.
And they feel connected to us, and the connection.
Absolutely.
The little thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Elijah. I think as we just come to the end, I would want any word of encouragement for families, especially for dads out there, about raising children in today's world. What would you say? Now, this is to put everything else you haven't talked about, you dump it in this moment. Yeah.
I think for me, number one will be intentionality. Number two, intentionality. Number three, intentionality. Basically, I'm saying that to emphasize that we have to be intentional. Just like when you set up to do a project, your intention is, like, for example, if it's in a business, your intention is to get some profit, right? what are your intentions when you're raising up your kids? You want the best kids. I know we always keep saying you want kids who are self-confident, you have kids who can, uh, uh, you know,
Leadership skills and
have the right leadership skills,
yes.
but it calls for something in terms of being a parent. That certain seeds need to be sown. You need to plant the right seeds into their lives, so that they can be able to come out as those qualities that we all desire, the right leadership skills, who are self-confident, who have some self-control. They don't just go doing whatever they want to do, but they know they have some level of wisdom. They have some level of discernment that they can know this is what I need to do, I shouldn't do. But it calls for a lot of work as a parent. So as a dad, I will say that we need to be intentional, because a lot of these things don't just happen. If it means going out to learn something to make you a better father, which I did. I had the option of not joining the Stawi classes, and I'm so happy that over and above just being a participant learning, I've been given a chance to work alongside Dr. Carol to shadow some of the activities she's doing. And because it's out of my passion for that, ready to be a better father, I'm actually saying I'm being prepared to be able to speak to other fathers, to be a model, to be able to pour into their lives, not only just to pour into the lives of the children, but how can I also, it's like they say, iron sharpens iron. When I'm in a better place to be able to do what I need to do as a father, then I can be able to share it with the rest of the fathers. And of course, it means I need to equip myself. So for me, one is that we need to be intentional. If you need to equip yourself, you need to learn certain things. We probably need to invest a little bit. The way we invest in, building our professional careers, we need to invest in being better parents, or in being better fathers. And I believe a session like this will, a father who might be listening to this, you'll definitely glean some wisdom that can help you. But you need to go back, marry your intentions with putting up a structure, the day-to-day activities. I intend to be a good father, but I need to apply myself. I need to put my hands on the plow to realize those results. And the results are beautiful when you see your children show up in spaces and everybody say, wow, I love that kind of kid, very self-confident, knows, have these values. There's some values that one can pick from your child. Definitely, it's a reminder that you as a father, or you as a parent, is doing your work. But it calls for intentionality, knowing it, equipping yourself, and just applying yourself in the day-to-day activities. Yes, the simple things are what will make the difference. It might not be the grand things, but that's the simple things is what will even make sense in the grand things. Yeah. So that was my message to our fellow fathers, that I wish all our fathers, a great journey. It's in fact, on my WhatsApp profile, one of the key things I put that fatherhood is a joy. It is a joy. It's possible to make it. It's possible to your children saying, "Dad, you did a good job. You did a good job, and we are proud of you." All of us will desire that. But down the line, they'll come back and say, "Dad, you are present. You affirmed us. You loved us. You provided for us, which we need to provide for our families, for our children. But over and above that, we need to be there for them in this season." And emotionally, it's just a charged environment, and it has to be available for our children.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Elijah, just for sharing your lived experiences, giving us examples, because that's what we're really looking for in this summit.
Yes.
We are looking at the experts, we are looking at the researchers, we're looking at these other, but we're also looking at the everyday dad, everyday mom,
Yes.
what it means to actually connect. So thank you that you have shared so candidly from your heart. And I'm sure a lot of dads out here will benefit from these conversations. And for those who are watching, those who are tuning in, we will be sure to share Elijah's contacts among the summit resources so that you can connect with him and the amazing work that he's doing as a sports director, as a father, and as a coach. Thank you very much, Elijah.
Very deeply, deeply appreciated. Thank you so much for having me. God bless.
God bless.